Because letting emotions drive you in a negative way is not a way to keep relationships.
G'day, I'm Charly, your online business manager and your WordPress expert. Today I have another interview and I am so pleased to have him back. I have Callum Armstrong from Taste and Publish joining me now. Callum has been a guest several times on the podcast and we've spoken a few times off screen, and every time we do, we have these fantastic conversations that we both end up saying we really should record these. So he's agreed to come on today and we are going to have a little bit of a conversation. But Callum, look, thank you so much for being a guest again. Why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? I know you've been on a few times, but for the new listeners, why don't you tell people about yourself?
Cool. Thanks, Charly. It's been quite a year with our recording relationship here. I think this is our 5th episode in 2024. 5 episodes. Wow. Crazy. So my name's Callum Armstrong. I am a Kiwi and I'm in New Zealand. If you're watching this on video, you'll see a painting in the background of a Kiwi bird, not to be confused with the Better Rugby team for you Aussie listeners out there. But yeah,
the Better Rugby team?
The better rugby team. Yeah, just being honest. It's a Thursday afternoon and it's December, so we need banter. But yeah, I wear a lot of hats in my core business, Paste and Publish. I'm a marketing coach and consultant. Help companies to turn their websites into 24/7 customer getting machines, show up at the top of Google, do a whole lot of other cool things like that. I also co-run a charity called Conservation Amplified. It used to be called the Reforestation Fund with my partner and fiance, Anna Vench. So we make a podcast called People Helping Nature, where we share the stories of how people are helping nature to bring more awareness to the solutions to help our environment, because there's a lack of awareness and awareness comes before action. So we need to get more awareness so that we can have more action, so that we can bring a future that we want to bring our kids into. And then I recently picked up a new role at a company called Carbon Invoice, which I do about a day a week at the moment. And this is a company, it's a software solution, and it connects your, basically it measures your carbon emissions in like 3 minutes by connecting to your accounting system. And then plants native trees in your local community to mitigate your carbon emissions, and then has a whole lot of really cool features like allowing you to share it on social media with auto-generated posts, to win government and corporate business with proposals and sustainability reports that are generated. And then we organize planting days to get business people along and put the trees in the ground and have fun with their team and customers. So those are kind of the hats I wear. I sit one foot in the business world, marketing, growth, entrepreneurship world, and another foot in the conservation environmental space, and now the climate space as well.
So if you haven't already caught up with Callum on LinkedIn and follow his conservation stuff on LinkedIn, it's well worth doing. I enjoy reading his posts when they go through. They're fascinating, and I think you've got a lot of practical solutions there. It's not just talk, which is the important thing when we're doing these things. So yeah, definitely catch up with Callum on LinkedIn for his conservation work. It is really good. It's great stuff.
I think just on that note, I don't have the solutions. Everybody else that's doing the work and has done for 20 years that no one knows about has the solutions. And the people that do are known but can be more known. There's a lot of solutions out there, but most of it's from people that are doers that don't go out and share their story. And so we're here to share their story, because I don't think it's one silver bullet. There's a lot of good actions, and it's just you need to learn about it before you can do it.
That's the part that I really enjoy, is that you do bring a lot of voices to the table that we can listen to and we can take from it things that resonate and educate ourselves. And it's such a big thing. And there's so much out there that I'm going to use that term, misinformation. I hate that term at the moment. All right, look, we were just as we were starting recording, we started getting into a couple of topics. We thought, no, we're just going to hit record and do our topics here. So it is the festive season. It is, I'm recording this on the 5th of December. I'm not sure when this is going to go up. It'll be sometime in the next couple of weeks. But we were talking about it's December and I am flat strapped. I've got so much work come in. I thought about 4 weeks ago it was going to be a really quiet December and I might actually get some personal projects done, but no, that's not happened. It's why is December busy and what happens? And yeah, let's start there because you asked me a good question after that.
Well, I want to come in with a proposed answer to why December is busy. This comes from one of my mentors, who was also a guest on the podcast, Rob McGowan, or Paruapata. He's a conservation and plant medicine teacher, and he has this concept that he's been going on about for years, which is that our seasons in the southern hemisphere are based on the seasons in the northern hemisphere. We have Christmas in the middle of summer, but it's actually winter up there. We have our long holidays. All of our holidays, our seasons are all out of whack because it's based on what the people that came here and were living by. And I wonder sometimes if there's some truth to that. If maybe we should have Christmas in June and we should just have a mid break in the middle of summer, like start off the new projects in the spring in the autumn when we're fresh, the climate's right for us to focus, and when we're just all lethargic and hot and it's all summery, just do a bit less. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you said when we're nice and fresh in the middle of winter, and I hate winter. Winter for me is the time that I actually curl up in bed and hibernate. Yeah. So Callum's just his earphones have just gone off. Yeah, his earphones have just gone off, so he's just trying to find out where the sound's gone.
Speakers.
We're good.
Hello. Sorry,
Hello.
my things just died. Apologies. Should have charged them.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I was saying that you say nice and fresh in winter, and I say no, I hibernate.
Oh, that's also a good point.
But I think it's because we come down to major holidays, and that's why we're busy. Regardless of where the major holidays hit, we get busy. Christmas is a major one because we've got Christmas and New Year's so close, and it's the end of the year, and people think we'll close out all of our projects, get ourselves ready, we'll go on holidays, and then when we come back, all of that will be behind us, and we can get on with our year. There are those of us. I mean, I often think of that meme of the dancer on stage, and she's dancing out on stage, and she looks so good, and you look behind the scenes, and there's all of her dresses and all of the people who have got her out there, and they're
yeah. It's just the tip of the iceberg, right? We put our best stuff forward, but wake up in the morning like, I'm tired. I just want to go back to bed.
I'm really tired. Yeah. So I think that's it, because I see it now. I'll see a small peak around Easter because Easter's a big holiday here. So as people sort of go off for that long weekend, the extra long weekend, it's a 4-day weekend, so they tend to take the week before off. I tend to get busy then. And then we kind of coast for the rest of the year, and we know that Christmas is coming again. It's going to stop. So but you asked a great question that I thought was really worth discussing. Am I doing the work myself, or do I have a team? And you kind of got a very pained look on that one.
Yeah. So do you, like, for me, I do most of the work myself these days, and I have a little bit that I get helpers with. When I was running an agency, it was like mostly done by my team and a little bit by me, mostly getting the business, briefing it, and then reviewing tweaks and sign off. But how do you do it?
So I sit between both, actually. I have been building my team up very slowly over the last, I'm going to say 12 months. It's a little bit longer. Gail has been with me for 3 years. I've had people on and off in the team over that 3 years, but this year I really made a concerted effort to bring some more people on to take some of the work off of me so that I can focus on the bigger stuff and focus on my business. So I can work on the business, not in the business. The trap there is that you don't bring on too many people at a time, and then you've still got to manage them. You've still got to make sure they're on track, that they're doing the right thing, that they understand what you've asked them to do. And it's been interesting. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. And of course, the work's just got to a point at the moment. It's like, well, I'm gonna jump in and do this piece of work, because if I get this piece of work done, I know then that when this next piece that so and so is working on is done, I can give them this bit. So I'm doing that train shuffle along the lines.
That's interesting. Yeah, I find with hiring and delegating work to people, unless you're hiring a senior and you're paying very good money, in which case you've got or a product, you're delegating it to an agency with all the process in place, in which case you're taking the financial risk instead of the workflow and hassle risk. You really want to get the business in, happy clients, repeatable results, and a process in place before you give it to someone. You can just hire someone and make it work, but it's a lot more stress and a lot more problems. And even if you've got a good process in place, that doesn't guarantee that it's going to work out well. So like you say, don't hire heaps of people at once. Just hire slowly. And I think if you get the right people, you're very careful about who you hire and you treat them right, you train them up and you make it worth their while, then people stick around. Like as much as you don't want to have to replace someone, like people don't want to have to find something else. I just think it's less hassle. I'd rather have less customers, less revenue, and less sleepless nights, and the same amount of profit. And that's a big part of why I went to being a coach as well.
On the nose, right on the nose. So that's where I was a few years ago, actually. Oh dear. So back in about 2012, I ramped up, and I didn't do it quickly, but I got a lot of clients on. I got some people in to help me out, and I was so stressed, and I was actually quite ill as a result of it, and things were not great, and it wasn't great with my family. I was cranky at my kids all the time because I was so stressed, and I just had work I needed to do, and I couldn't get myself out of it because I was either managing the team or I was fixing up things that needed to be fixed up so I could get it out the door. And at that point, I made the decision that I ramped it all the way down. I went down to what I knew I could do, and I knew I could do myself, what I knew I could do myself consistently and well. And my profits went up. My revenue dropped significantly, but my profits went up. And honestly, for a couple of years there, I just coasted on that. It was tight financially, but mentally and emotionally, it was so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's certain conceptions of what we should have. You need $1 million agency. You need this, you need that. And usually those conceptions come from either someone who's trying to sell you something or someone who's got it and they want that to stroke their ego. Or it's just a societal norm, like go to university, become a doctor, and, retire at 65. But I think, where was I going with this? There's no one right way to do business or wrong way. Like do it how you want. Throughout my last 6 years since I became self-employed, I've always had 10 to 15 hours a week of billable work. And even when I was running my agency, that dropped a bit when I had more people working, but I've always just done 10 to 15 hours a week of billable work for consistent clients that get an amazing job. They pay me monthly. They know that they can rely on someone. They pay good money for good service, and it works. And in that time, my rate's gone up by 1,200, 1,300%. Which is not to say that I'm expensive or that I was cheap. It's just that as my skills increase, I'm able to charge more because I'm delivering more value, more growth, more profit, more results for clients. And now I'm like, if I wanted to make double my money, I could either hire some people or do something, or I could just work some more hours. So I'm not saying that I would necessarily do that. I'm not saying that I actually want to make more money, because we all want to, but it's not a sacrifice that I want to make right now. But that's my choice. And that's my business, and nobody can say that's right or wrong. And so I think if you're in a position where you're thinking, this just business isn't right for me, I've done everything I thought I should have, and I'm just not happy, like, I think it's good to question the model, and it's good to question where you should show up. Yeah, there's no right way and there's no wrong way, but like, there's no tombstones out there that say he worked really hard. You know, people don't remember you for that. It's
Right.
cliche, but it's true.
Oh no, it's very true. And my dad used to say to me, because as a younger woman, I'm a pretty driven person. I'm a pretty, you know, I like my results. I like to achieve. I like to be doing things. And as a younger woman, stress was a thing for me. So I'm working in a corporate environment, a technical tech side of the corporate environment. And I'm working long hours because I'm trying to keep the systems running, and I'm trying to I'm doing internal support and I'm helping the clients as well. Now I'm working long hours and I'm getting cranky. I'm a cranky woman when I go. My dad pulled out a bucket of water one day and he said, "Charlie, stick your hands in this bucket of water." So I did. He says, "Now pull them out." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What's happened to the water?" I said, "Nothing. It's flat." He goes, "Now do it again and splash it around as much as you can and make as much of a hole in the water as you can." So I did. He said, "Now take your hands out. Now what's left?" I said, "Flat water." He goes, "And that is what's going to be left when you leave that organization you're working your guts out for." So it doesn't matter what you do. They'll fill that hole. No worries at all.
That is such a good piece of advice.
Isn't it?
You think that you're so important, but it's like, and we are important in some way, of course, you know, got to say that everybody's special, but yeah, I think it's good to check yourself and check your assumptions from time to time, especially at Christmas, at this time of year.
We're not irreplaceable. In fact, where we are irreplaceable, it's not our work where we're irreplaceable. Where we're irreplaceable is in the hearts and the minds of the people around us, like our family. Our family would miss us. Your work, they'll miss you, but they'll find someone else to replace you. Your family won't find someone to replace mum. You won't find someone to replace your son. You won't find someone to replace your dad. You know, that's the things that I like to remember. And I know that when I finish this interview, my dad's going to be knocking on the door in a minute, saying, not in a minute, but when we're done, going, "Come on, we're going out now. We're going to go and get coffee. You've worked all morning. It's time for a break."
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I posted this this thread on LinkedIn yesterday, and I think it's really relevant to what we're talking about. It said boundaries plus priorities equals foundations to thrive at work. If you have priorities without boundaries, you'll burn out. If you have boundaries without priorities, you'll stagnate, or something to that effect. And I think it's a really good frame. This came from my naturopath and health coach, Alina Winter. Awesome shout out to her. If you think about it, it's a really good way of looking at it, because you want boundaries to make sure your work doesn't take up your whole life. You know, you have to be flexible. Sometimes you need to hustle, sometimes you can back off and coast, but you need boundaries to even know if you've crossed them. And you need priorities. Otherwise, where are you going to focus? But, you know, if you have an empty box, it's just an empty box. And if you have everything and it's not in a box, then it just takes up your life.
I like that. I really, really like that. So yes, and again, as you're saying, particularly this time of year, it's really important that we remember that we keep that top of mind, that yes, you can work 18 hours today, you can work 20 hours today if you want. The work will still be there tomorrow. As long as but will your health, will your emotional well-being, will your mental well-being be there tomorrow if you're doing this today? So you've got to balance that out. And that, you know, I talk about my dad a lot. I'm actually living with my dad again at the moment. We're on the road together, so we're doing a house sit together. So we go and have dinner. We'll go and have dinner together, and we go and he'll have a beer and I'll have a glass of wine or something. We'll have a chat. And he's saying to me, "You're really busy." I said, "Yes, I'm really, really busy, but I've got defined deliverables for this work. And once this work is done, I can say, right, I'm not going to start my next project for another week, and give myself that week break in between. I know when my deliverable is due. I know what I need to do. I don't mind working hard in the short term as long as I can balance that out in the long term.
Yeah. Definitely. Sprints, right? Like you have a 7 or a 5 or a 10-day period of I just need to get this done. You have coasting periods where it's like do the minimum to keep the engine rolling, and then you have times where you switch off.
Yep. And there are days that I'll come in and I'll look at what I've got on and I need a nap.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a nap. And it's 20 minutes, half an hour, come back. Oh, look, I'm good to go again. I can actually do another several more hours. So you've just got to know where you're at, and you've got to be prepared. What's the words I want to say on that? You've got to be prepared to be gentle with yourself and give yourself permission to do it. Don't beat yourself up because you can't maintain that momentum all the time. The other side of that is don't fall into the trap that this is okay and you can coast all the time. You can't. You've got to balance it out across a period of time.
Yeah, I feel like a bit of a hypocrite having this conversation, to be honest. Like I'm probably coming across as some guru that knows how to find balance in my life. Yet, yesterday I was working till 9. The day before it was like 10. The last week it was like 40 hours in 3 days. The week before it was 40 hours in 3 days. And so there's reasons for that, and that's a limited, time-bound, defined thing in my life. But I'm like flat out right now, and probably more, actually definitely more than I'd like to be. But I think where this becomes toxic is where it's left in the shadows, where it's not talked about. So when I was earlier in my partnership with Anna, I'd just say, I'm just going to work, and we didn't talk about it. It wasn't in the open, and it was like an elephant in the room, and that is not a good foundation. That leads to problems. But these days, if she needs to work hard, or if I need to work hard, we just talk about it. We say, hey, I've got this deadline, I'm stressed about it, I need to just get it done, and then we can support each other. And I think stress is, if you've got a partner, or you've got family, or you friends or loved ones that are close to you that you're talking to regularly, I think it's important to let people in, because people want to help. And help doesn't mean I'm going to do the work for you. It can just mean that I understand and I listen from time to time. But yeah, makes a big difference.
Yeah. And yeah, I love what you just said. You feel like you said maybe it's coming across like a guru and that you're really good at this. I'm not. I fail at this all the time, and I have to have these conversations with myself. And sometimes it is down to my dad walking in and saying, Charlie, you need a break. Or someone ringing saying, go for a walk.
Yeah.
And this is what you were saying about people just want to help. And I think sometimes we feel that they don't understand, and they're just giving us a hard time. And yeah, some of our family do that. Some of our friends do that. They don't want you to work hard because they don't understand it, and whatever it is. My general thing is once I sat down and explained to people, as you said, brought it out into the open, these are my goals, this is what I'm trying to do, this is where I'm trying to get to. For me, was someone saying, you work so hard. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, but I don't have a job. This is my job.
Yeah.
This is what I do to earn money. If I'm not working, I'm not earning money. I don't get to buy food. And yeah, I drove it right the way down to that. And well, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
How
sure.
can I help you? Yeah.
And like, it's interesting. Like, I've got times when I might do 20, 30, 40 hours a week of client work. But then there's times when that's only 2 or 3, and we're driving around the country on a motorbike and driving around Bali and having a good time. And but I've still got to show up for that half a day or a day a week. But it's that flexible. There's no applying for annual leave. There's no, did I get it? Did I not? It's trade-offs, right? I think we should call this podcast the brutally honest truth about workaholism, or something like that. That'd be kind of a cool
I like that. I'm thinking that. I do like that one. The brutally honest truth about workaholism.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good to chat about it. And I think there's a concept from Tim Ferriss in the 4 Hour Work Week. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. And he talks about how stress can be healthy or it can be destructive. There's eustress and distress.
Yes,
So
it does.
distress
Yeah.
is stress about something that brings you down. Eustress is stress about something that lifts you up. So say organizing your wedding, that'd be like eustress. It's like, I'm stressed about this, but it's something I'm passionate about, positive, and really care about. I've never had a wedding, so I don't know if that's eustress or distress. But or organizing, say, a holiday, and it's like, assuming nothing's going majorly wrong, you're really intensely focused on it, but it's a good thing. And work from the outside might seem like distress when you're busy and stressed and focused and in the moment, but quite often it's actually eustress. It's actually the joy that it brings you. Now, I'm not going to lie, throughout my week, most weeks, there's stuff I absolutely do not want to do, but I do it anyway because it's just part of it.
Do it.
But you can't call work, if you see it from the outside, just that. Like, it's never black or white.
No, and you're right. It was Tim Ferriss, and I also did some life coaching with someone, and they also said you can't take stress out of your life because some stress is good. There is a good level of stress in your life, and that's what makes you grow. When you stress your muscles because you're lifting weights, that's what develops your muscles. When you're exercising, you're actually putting stress on your body to exercise, and that's what helps your body get fit. That's what helps you get fit. So think of it in those terms. You've got your fitness stress and you've got your I'm just going to curl up in a ball and cry stress.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's fascinating. So there's how busy we are and how we manage our busy. How do you handle your clients as you're coming up to Christmas? Are you taking a break? What are you doing?
So we are about to go traveling. So I've had a lot of conversations with clients. I've been really nervous telling clients that I'm heading on the road, as if they're going to fire me because I'm living my life. Like, it's just one of those assumptions that's been running around my head. I told them, all of them, in the last couple of weeks, and every single one said, "This is amazing. I'm so jealous of you. I wish I could be part of it, but that's really cool. And of course, we're going to keep working together. I know you'll get the job done." And so that was quite cool. How are we closing down? I'll probably take a week off over Christmas, maybe. But I think because we're going to be going on the road in Feb, we'll probably be doing a lot of getting stuff packed up and sold off and getting the house ready. And also, I find that Christmas, and maybe this is just being dedicated to work, but I find that the Christmas holidays period is a good time to think about your plans for the year, think about what you want to be focusing on. So the last couple of weeks, I've been putting down questions that I want to answer. And then I've made little sticky notes, and I've been just throughout my day, stuff will come up, and I've been putting more questions and more ideas on those sticky notes. So, for example, one of them is, what do I need to thrive in 2025 and onwards? Like, what are my non-negotiables I need to have each day? How do I put that into my prioritizing processes? Like, how do I make sure that I have those in place? And beyond the core basics, what do I need in my work and in my personal life, and in our environmental stuff, to actually feel like I'm living my best life? And yeah, and other stuff around finances and investments, where we want to go, and what my identity as a person is in the public world, what I guess you call your personal brand is. So for me, the Christmas period it's holiday, it's family, it's friends, it's celebration, but it's also a time where you don't have emails coming in all the time to really just recenter yourself and say, am I going in the right direction? I'd rather go slower towards the right direction than faster towards the wrong one. And so just recenter and figure out, where is that North Star, because it changes all the time. So where has it changed to?
I absolutely love that. So a time of reflection as well as planning, which is great. I love that. Yeah, for me, Christmas for me is about regeneration. So taking that time just to remember that there's more to life than work. Yep, brutal honest truth about workaholism. Yep.
Yeah.
And I try to catch up on a few of my personal projects. So I always have little things that I've got to get done. And there's that stuff that you haven't finished in your business, like my website needs redoing and I need to write this and I need to do that. So I take a little bit of time to do that and then plan it out so that I know that in the first part of the year I can get the rest of it done, not have to do it all at once.
No.
And yeah, dream a little about what I want to come for the year, what I want to be doing in the year, what's something new I can do. Can I introduce a new product? Can I introduce a new service? Can I do something different? Who do I need to reconnect with that I haven't connected with? Those sorts of things.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah. I think it's important that, yeah, I find that a week, 5 to 7 days of not thinking about work whatsoever, you might have Christmas and some friends around, is cool. But after that, I'm thinking, I'm great. I can happily go off and do holidays, but I can also happily go back and feel refreshed.
Yeah.
I prefer to have like shorter, more regular breaks if possible. But I think it just depends on yourself, like what works for you. Yeah, everyone has different ways that they function, right?
It's really interesting you say that, because when I was working for someone else, I think we'd call that a slave wage. A wage slave. That's it, a wage slave. That's what it is, a wage slave. I found that I'd need a minimum of 2 weeks, because the first week you're actually disconnecting. You're actually getting yourself to a point you're not thinking about what you had to finish off at work. You're not, it's still going on in the brain. So you get to the end of the first week and you're actually ready to start your holidays after that. So that extra week was really handy. So 2 to 3 weeks when I was working for someone. Now it depends on what I've been doing beforehand, but a week, 2 to 3 days a week. And I'm champing at the bit to get back, because my creativity hits. I want to go and do things. I want to go and see just had this idea. Let me go and check this and see if I can make that work.
Yeah, it's your business, right? Also, I've found when I go on a longer holiday, the first week or so, like the first few days, I just want to say goodbye to the business, get my emails cleared and put my autoresponder on and leave. But then after a few days, I get all this creative ideas coming up. I think about maybe problems that I was frustrated about. I can see the solution, or ideas that I hadn't considered, or connections that aren't joined, for 4 or 5 days, usually, maybe a week. And in the past, I would try and push that away. I'd say, no, I'm on holiday. I'm not allowed to think about work. And that would, because I'm pushing it away, the ideas would come back and I'd think about work the whole holiday. But then when I let that happen and I say, okay, I'm going to talk about it within boundaries, again, coming back to the boundaries, and I journal on it, and I write it down, and I should maybe schedule a note to do this when I get home, I can actually switch off and I can actually have the time of my life. But if I, there was something I was talking to a colleague about last week, and it was, I can't remember where this point came from, but it's that so many people talk about work-life balance, but you only need work-life balance if you don't want to be at work. If you want to be at work, you need work-life blend. So, if I'm working 9 to 5 at a place I don't like, I'm like, okay, I need to balance that trade-off for the money I need to do my stuff with the things I actually want. Whereas for me, it's like, I'd actually rather have a day that's a tapestry of work and life and social connections and family and fun and exercise. Like before this, I went for a walk. After this, I'll probably do some push-ups and spend some time with my partner, and then come back and do a bit more work. We might go out for a meal after that. So yeah, it's just a completely different way of thinking about how you contribute to the world and get rewarded for it.
Yeah, I tend to use that as harmony, work-life harmony, not balance. I actually really hate the term work-life balance, because it's never a balance like people think about it. It's a balance if you look at it over a really long time. But if you were to look at it in the really macro level, or in the really micro level, it's not a balance, because I'm here, I'm working with you. So right now I am 100% here working with you. I'm not thinking about anything else. Dad and I will go out in a bit and go and do some groceries and pick up a few things we need. And I'm going to be 100% there with him. I've actually learned how to turn off, and the emails will ping and I'll check the email and I go, okay, yep, leave it. And I'll be there 100% with him. That's not balance. That's just what I need. That's just where you're at in the day.
How do you do that when something's going wrong that's got under your skin? Like if it's just an email and something's being delivered, yeah, I can check it, or I actually turn the notifications off because I get distracted too easy. I can go whatever. But if something's like someone's done wrong by me, or a client's got a major problem or something, or someone's delivered work and it's just terrible work, and then they've sent me an invoice that's too much for the terrible work, I really struggle to stay switched off after in that personal.
It's hard, isn't it? It's really hard. Okay, so you mentioned there's levels in what you just mentioned. One thing you said was someone's done wrong by me. So let's put that one to the side. Then you said something's going wrong. So that's a really immediate thing. And then there's that they've delivered really bad work and I've got to deal with it, and it's really under my skin. So there's three things that we can look at. So I'm going to come back to the immediacy thing. The immediacy thing I look at is this something that I need to look at immediately? Is it something I have to stop, go and sit down somewhere and look at, or can it wait until I'm done what I'm doing here and move back to my office? Now, 9 times out of 10, they say to me, this isn't work. I'm like, well, I'm not at my desk at the moment. I'm going to be, so again, it's the communication. I'm going to be another hour. Yep, I'm going to be another hour. I will look at it when I get back. Is that okay? And they go, oh yeah, that's no problems. It's not really that, that's not really that urgent. They're not, they don't actually expect you. This is the thing that really gets me, because I look at it and go, oh, it's broken. And I can wait. That's fine. I'll wait till you get back. Not a problem. We know you're going to fix it for us. Now, if it's an immediate thing and they say, look, we really need it working now. Honestly, I've got my phone. I go and sit in a coffee shop and I'm on the phone going, or I'll get onto Gail and I'll say, listen, I need you to get onto the screen and I will talk you through what you need to do to fix this problem for me. Or find which of my team could actually go and get me the basic information and get that going while I'm out doing what I need to do. So that's the immediacy thing. So you've got to really determine, is this something that I need to deal with right now, or is it something I can put off? The most important thing that I come out of with that is be communicative. Don't just let it sit there and let your customers stew and they don't know whether you've got it or whether you haven't got it or whether you're ignoring them or whatever it is. Because the next thing you'll get is the phone call. If they've sent you an email and you haven't responded, they're going to call you. They're going to pick up the phone and they will call you. But if you get back to them and say, hey, listen, I'm going to be an hour. I'm out. I went out to get some groceries, or I've just gone out to grab my lunch. I'm going to be an hour. I will get to it as soon as I can. Cool, no problems. That's the immediacy thing. Someone hasn't delivered what you've asked them to do and it's really bugging you. That one's harder, and that one's more, don't take it personally. And that's a big thing that I've really had to learn. It is not personal. There could be any number of things that I'm not aware of. And honestly, I've had this week where I've had one of my team members do something and I was ropeable because I'm looking at it going, I need to get this out. And how could you get it wrong? And then I went back and had a look at a few things about, oh, I see what you've done.
Yes.
There's that part of it. Again, what I try to do with that is I actually try to block out time to deal with that. I make sure that I get my headspace right. I get my mindset right to deal with it in terms of this isn't personal. I have to deal with this unemotionally. I need to work through it. I will write things. When I get to that point, I'll have a notebook up. I'm like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Rant, delete it. This is wrong, this is wrong, let's rant, delete it. And I can get myself down to the point of now I can talk about this unemotionally and professionally. I've had my rant. Maybe I get Gail on the on my Discord server, and we have a video call, and I cry at her. Yeah, you get that emotion out, you emote, you get it out, but you get it out in the, again, it's a term I hate, a safe space. But you're not doing it at the person that's done it to you. So you're not going to burn that relationship. You're not going to hurt them. You're not going to, I've got to be careful when I say that. It's not going to become that you're angry and you're venting at them. You may end up hurting them because you go back in such a logical fashion and it's so cold that they really, that they've done something wrong and that you're really upset. But then it comes about communication. Now, if it comes down to, well, that's the price and you're going to have to pay it, I will pay it.
Yeah,
and they'll never
same.
get another piece of work from me. Never, ever again. And they will not get a recommendation. Yeah. And if someone was to ask me about the service that I got, I would be honest to the point of I was not happy with the service I got from them. And that's all I will say. So that's that side of it. Now, if we go back to someone's done me wrong, that one's really even more hard because honestly, sometimes you just want to go and punch them in the face.
Yeah.
And again,
but that comes back to, you might think they've done you wrong, but you're frustrated in the moment and they had the best intentions, but you think that they're the bad guy. But when you let the emotions cool down, actually, they were just trying to do something. Maybe you didn't give them the right info. Maybe they didn't think it through, and maybe they didn't communicate it right. And now if you snap at them, you're going to burn that bridge forever, and that's going to make it even worse than it could have been.
Yeah. So really it's about, for me, it's take that step back, try and change your perspective on it and look at it. Is this something I need to deal with now? And the one thing I found in all three of those situations is generally the answer is no, I don't have to deal with it now. There is absolutely nothing that says I have to jump and get this moving now. If I take that time out and just let things simmer for a simmer, it might get worse, but then it might not also, because you've taken yourself out of the situation and you can look at it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I've got one of my best friends he gave me a call distressed yesterday. I won't name the friend, that wouldn't be fair, but he was in a country in South America and he had booked a flight back to New Zealand that went through another country, then another stopover, and he left his passport in his check-in bag, and then after he checked in, he had to get it back, and he missed his flight. Then he spent a few grand on another emergency flight that transited through America, through San Fran, and then went to go on the plane, and they said, sorry, you need a temporary visa and we can't let you on even to the connecting flight until that. And he was like, he's one of the most calm people I've ever met in situations of distress, and he was really worried, but I wasn't worried. So I was like, hey, it's all right. Just we went through the situation and went on my computer, and I was able to get the visa on my computer and buy it and give it to him, and he made it back. But it was really interesting to see someone who was normally really calm, even in the worst of situations, being really worried, and just seeing like not trying to make the point I'm trying to make here is that because I was separated from it, I saw it in facts. I was like, we need to test this path. If that path doesn't work, we'll try this, talk to this person in this way, and we need to do this. Here's the things that matter, here's the things that don't. Whereas because this was, his whole life was in this airport in a place he didn't know, and it was like, I want to come home to the people I care about, and I've just drained my savings. It was like, this is really tough. So yeah, I think our emotions can get the better of us. And
yeah, absolutely. And look, you're talking to someone who's got a really fiery temper, and I do get emotional. So for me, there's a lot of things I've learned over time to put in place, and I fail as often as I succeed. And I say sorry a lot.
Yeah.
because I'll go, wait, hang on, sorry, let me walk away. I need some space. I will come back to you. I am really sorry. Just give me a moment. And then I can go back.
Yeah, yeah. I also find I probably apologize too much as well. But the other tool that, now that you mention it, I find really useful is prefacing things to remove the emotion. So I might say, this is probably going to sound like a dumb idea, and but do you mind if I just ask a stupid question? Or I'm going to seem like an idiot for saying this. However, I'm not happy with this. Or another one I like to do is saying, can I just think out loud for a moment? Because I think there's an angle we're not seeing here.
That is a really good one, that one. Can I just think out loud? What was the one I was just thinking of? Oh, look, don't take this the wrong way, but can you explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old? Because I'm not getting it. This isn't you, this is me. I need you to explain this to me really, really, really simply. And often I say, because I start worrying that it is me and that I'm not smart and that I don't, what do those words put together mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's funny. Yeah, definitely some
Right.
good tools.
Yeah. Oh, my other favorite one is humor me. Could you please try this? Would you please humor me and just try this? Oh, sure. Oh, that worked. Yeah. Thought it might.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. It's good. Good
Yeah.
usage of language to.
Yeah, so I like that one. Now there was something else. Oh, you're mentioning your friend getting stuck. I totally understand that. I having traveled and getting layovers and then working out that I can't access money because there's no teller or there's no money, like something's happened, there's no money in my account, and I'll sit on chat because I get the data in the in the airport, and I'll chat at my kids, my daughter particularly, and she talks me down.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, funny.
And, my car blew up a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I told you. My
No, I don't think you did.
my camper van is in being serviced.
Oh,
It's $15,000 plus at the moment. It's going to have a
gee.
new engine,
Okay.
completely new engine in it by the time I'm done.
Right. So that means that all this work you're doing at the moment is good because it'll pay for the engine.
Yeah, well, thank goodness for family. My daughter is lending me the money, so I'm going to have to pay them back. But I was stuck out on the side of the road. I rang road service, and road service, it's stinking hot. It's 30. It was 31 degrees. The road is like this wide. On the side of it, there's trucks going past and other cars going past. I got onto road service, like, oh well, you're with this because I'm in Queensland, and my road service is through New South Wales. So when I rang the number, I got onto the Queensland road service. They, oh well, you're with New South Wales, so we're going to have to. I said, honey, listen to me. Listen, I know this isn't your fault, but what you need to understand is that I'm on my own. I'm on the side of the road. It's stinking hot. My car is broken down, and I really don't care what your processes are. All I need to know is that you're going to have someone here. I don't care what you have to do in the background. I don't want to know. You just need to say to me, I have this, and we are going to sort it out. Oh, I have this, and we're going to sort it out. Thank you very much.
That's funny.
Oh, I could feel it was stressful. And then my brother rings and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, he goes, okay, just talk to me. Let's talk this through. Breathe.
Oh man. Yeah, well, when is it coming out? Are you gonna have it back on the road for the new year?
Look, I don't expect it before Christmas. I might be lucky and get it before Christmas, but I'm expecting first or second week in January, to be honest. It's the beginning of December now. They've been working on it for about a week because we had to get the funds through, and we weren't going to start it till we made sure we had the funds.
Yeah.
And it's that time of year, and I'm not going to stress someone and say, oh, I want my car by Christmas, because
Yeah, sure.
you do that, you're going to get a bad job. They're going to rush something, and I want them to take the time, make sure that it's done. They know that I want it. They know that this is all I've got and that I'm up here without transport and such. So they're not slouching, but I'm also not going to put that pressure back on them to say, get it done, get it done, get it done. Come January, I might.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Oh, if you've got a good mechanic, they're definitely worth their weight in gold and aluminium. I don't know, what do you make cars out of? Steel?
Steel, probably.
Well,
Plastic.
they're probably worth more than that, because I can't imagine a ton of plastic is worth that much.
No, but yeah, so yeah, but it's just funny, the things that stress you and don't stress you, and where it goes.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Well, I've learned something from our chat today. Quite a few things, actually, about how to deal with situations when something's annoyed you and you're not meant to be getting frustrated by that work.
Oh, I'm glad. That's excellent. So what is your biggest takeaway from today?
Biggest takeaway, I think it's just that we're all human. I mean, I already knew this, but it's good to be reminded, is like, we all put out these highlight reels online and to our customers and to our team, etc. But we've all got something we're struggling with, and if we don't, well, then you're pretty lucky, or you're dishonest with yourself. So I think it's just important to be honest and call out the elephant in the room, and just try and remember the relationships, because letting emotions drive you in a negative way is not a way to keep relationships.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I learned that I need to do some reflection over this period of time. I really like that question of what do I need to thrive in 2025. I think I'm going to put that up and contemplate that for a little and start to answer that question myself.
Yeah, cool. It's not something you can like check off and do, but like, I find if you put the question out there and you just let it mull over, your subconscious in a week will be like, or 2 weeks will say, hey, I've got the answer.
Yeah. Well, there's a number of things that it could actually come up with, and I think that's a really good question to ask. What do you need to thrive in 2025? Great.
Rhymes as well, incidentally. So there you go.
Sorry, what was that?
It rhymes as well, incidentally.
It does, doesn't it?
So no, I wasn't intending for that, but I'll take it.
No, I'll take it. Absolutely, it's a good one. Well, mate, I think I'm going to go and find my father and get a cup of coffee with him.
Good stuff.
I probably won't see you before, so have a fantastic Christmas.
Thank you. And you?
I will, and I expect to hear all about your travels and where you are, and I will keep following you on LinkedIn and look for the photos of what you're doing and where you're going. I take it you're doing New Zealand?
Yeah. So we'll do some of the North Island, and then we'll go to Indonesia, go Bali through Java to Sumatra, Singapore to the UK.
What are you going to do?
We've got a vehicle in New Zealand that we'll stay in and stay in various Airbnbs and friends and house sitting, as well as living in the car. And then in Indonesia, we normally just, like, we've been a few times now, we normally just get booking.com or guest houses or Airbnbs. UK, we've got family and friends we'll stay with for a bit of it, and well, hopefully they want us. Otherwise we'll just stay in Airbnbs or motels or backpackers. And then in Germany, my partner's family's from there, so we'll spend it with them.
Wow, that's a long trip. How long are you going for?
3 months in New Zealand and 4 months overseas, and then I guess we'll just reassess. So I'm not sure, but I'll still run the business. We'll still do our podcast. So it's going to be an interesting test, because the way I look at the kind of work we do is that it means that you don't have to take a holiday or save your money and then spend it till you're broke. Like, you can actually have your cake and eat it too. You can
work your way through it,
and you can go forward financially each week, each month, while doing what you want, where you want.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
it is the life. I've got to say, it is the life.
Yeah, it's got its upsides. It definitely does. And then this is normally when I'd plug some kind of coaching program to live the life. No, I'm just joking.
Well, if you
But
want to. So
no, I
what
don't know that.
tell us how people can get in touch with you while you're living this life.
Yeah, good question. If you want to chew the fat, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm pretty active there, so feel free to connect. If you're thinking about doing some marketing stuff and you need some guidance or coaching, pasteandpublish.com. We're at capacity at the moment, but always happy to point people in the right direction or connect them with people like yourself, Charlie, of course. I mean, they probably know you if they're listening to this, so probably not relevant. But yeah, go on there if you want to see what I'm about. And our charity, our environmental charity, is conservationamplified.org. So if you're somewhat curious about nature, check it out. Some pretty cool shit.
I will put all these into the show notes for people. Now, hopefully next year we can reconnect, because I know I do want to talk about that carbon invoice.
Yeah. We haven't touched on that today, but it's a hot topic. Next year, start of January, a lot of Aussie businesses are going to need to show their carbon emissions and measure them. And it's a real can of worms, a real hassle, really expensive, really painful. And the company I just joined makes it 3 minutes hassle-free, affordable and fun and easy and rewarding. So yeah, little plug. But if you, hopefully we actually record that podcast, because it's going to be a bit awkward if we get to the end of episode 5 and then you can cut that out if you want.
No, you're good. No, because I do want to get you guys on. I do want to get you guys on and talk about, as I said to you, yes, because Callum spoke to me yesterday about it, and I thought I'm going to go and look up the legislation and make sure I'm familiar with it and what it all means before we speak, because that's where, Australian legislation is just one of those things that you.
Yeah, it's happening all over the world, but Australia's got some pretty big changes coming, like major, a lot more than New Zealand, I think. Just in a nutshell, I'll wrap it up. Can I wrap it up in 30 seconds on what it is? I won't, otherwise we'll go down an hour-long rabbit hole.
Go for it.
Cool. So basically, governments and big companies, so there's various thresholds, have to report on their carbon emissions, because most countries around the world have committed to reductions in their carbon and becoming net zero by 2030 or 2050 or 2060, I think, for China. And so to do that, they need to make sure that anyone that the government sources stuff off for all those government contracts is able to measure and report on their carbon and then reduce it over time. And for corporates, they have to do the same. And so this is trickling down to their supply chains, because they need to know the emissions of all their supply chain, their suppliers, their vendors. And so, yeah, it's becoming a much bigger factor in procurement and in who they give contracts to. So if you've got a service with, or some kind of business serving a large corporate or a local government or national government, this is going to become a lot more important. I think if you don't have that business and you want it, there's going to be opportunities to take that business off people that don't adapt, that are going to lose that business. And if you've got that business and you want to keep it, you need to be on the forefront of this. It's coming. Yeah. And we've seen some big wins from customers who have won big contracts because of doing this, which is really cool, because it kind of aligns helping the planet with helping grow your business, which is like a really nice flywheel to bring a future that's worthwhile.
Yeah, and look, I've got a couple of clients that I think are going to be affected, so I've got to go and learn about it now. Yay!
Yep. I'll send you that resource when it's live.
Please do.
Updating it. So quick TLDR on the rules.
And we'll get you back on with I can't think of his name,
Carlos.
to talk about
Carlos.
To talk about, which will be fantastic. All right, mate. Well, you have a fantastic Christmas. I hope all of our listeners have a fantastic Christmas. I will get this live before Christmas, obviously.
Oh, well, thank you. And you. I hope you have an amazing time.
I will, thank you.
I can't believe that we've done 5 episodes this year. So, assuming you still want me back, I'd love to keep it going. It's a
Oh,
good,
so would
good
I.
fun, right?
I enjoy it, and yeah, every time we talk, even off camera, we still talk about really cool things, and I learn heaps from you. So I really
Likewise.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, likewise. It's yeah, it's great. So merry holidays, Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas. It's fine.
Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
yeah,
All
Happy
right,
New Year,
Callum.
and all that stuff. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. And if you can remember, if you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. I will get that right one day. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Bye.